living the dream. I'm in love with the lights. This is not just a game. This here is my life. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on. Yeah.
I'm coming clutch, no stick shift. Ozone is my witness. An icon like icons. Keep your eyes on, don't miss this. Wait, what is this? A lot of pressure on me, but you don't know me. Man, I asked this, and so I laugh at
Live
this.
from maybe the most beautiful day of the year in Los Angeles, it is the Ozone. I'm your host, Omar Miller. I'm here with my brother, Terry Miller, also known as the Prophet. How you feeling?
Feeling great, man. It's beautiful outside.
It's so nice outside, folks.
It's not too hot and it's not too cold. It's a little slight.
Only thing would have been nice if there was a Dodgers World Series parade.
I don't know
going
about
on.
all that. We won't want to waste our energy on a parade in Los Angeles.
But no, it is a beautiful day. We got a lot to cover, folks, in this post-World Series edition. Sorry for coming at you a little late. I screamed my lungs out and my vocal cords out at the game, so I needed a couple days to get my act back together.
And your attitude.
And I'm still angry. I've taken over
Angry
the mantle
Black.
of Angry Black, but we still have Angry Black here. Don't worry. I'm sure he has something
Nobody can
ridiculous to
take
say.
my title.
Sure he's mad about something, ladies and gentlemen. But we got a lot to cover. We actually have a special guest coming in studio. Want to talk about the World Series and what it means for the city of Boston while they're celebrating and this crazy championship run of this century that they've set out on in the first 18 years of this century. But first, we want to talk about the NFL trade line that just passed. And we got our special guest NFL analyst, truck driver extraordinaire, Trucker Dave, to give his analysis.
Fellas, what's going on?
Trucker Dave, live on the Ozone, post-trade deadline.
Coming in extra crispy, too.
Coming in crispy. You sound like you got great reception. Are you not on the roads of America? What's happening?
Of course, I'm on the roads of America, my friend.
Wow, they must be putting in that 5G wherever you are because you're coming in nice and bright and coming in hot today. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I was anticipating you guys. What's going on?
Oh, man, you tell us. We're talking about the world of football right now. This is transition time in sports. The World Series just ended. RIP to the Dodgers. Los Dodgers could not get it done. But now we're looking at the team that you love so much, who's chasing now another championship for the great city of Boston. The New England Patriots seem like they've come alive. How do you feel about moves being made, about the game? And I heard you caught a game out in Chicago. Tell us about the experience. Paint a picture for us.
Oh man, it was a great experience. It was a great experience, man. You can't say enough about it. But as far as the trade is going on, I really like what the Rams did with Dante Fowler. Man, I think that's a home run, man. I don't see how you can lose with that move, man. That's a great move, man. I think that can just open them up for bigger things because now you got that outside pass rush, and with that inside push from Aaron Donald and Dominic Kinsu, man, this might put the Rams over the top, man. They're making big moves.
You know what's unbelievable about that trade is that the Jags didn't get anything for him, really.
What is going on with all of these teams making trades for a draft pick?
Right. You don't get anything out of it.
The only thing that the Raiders have won at this year is getting the only thing the Raiders have won at this year is getting a higher draft pick than everybody else who gave up all of their talent.
Right.
I know, but none of these draft picks are proven, so that's why I'm not really. I mean, it's good to have those draft picks. They have 3 of them, but none of them are proven, so you don't know what you're going to get with those draft picks.
Right.
I like Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper has shown. Amari Cooper. What's wrong with him is John Gruden.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper has shown that if you actually get him the ball,
give him the opportunity,
give him the ball, he's going to shine, and I think he's going to get that opportunity to shine.
I think so too, man. I think they put him in a winning situation with him, with Dak and Zeke. I think they need to get a tight end though, and they probably should have got a safety or something like that. They should have got one after Clinton Dix and not let him go to the Redskins because they need a safety. They were looking at Earl Thomas before he got hurt.
But Earl Thomas was busy flipping people off because he broke his leg. But along with that, I happen to play the Rams GM on television. And I'm happy with the moves that I made as well, so I'm glad that you approve of them, Trucker Dave.
I approve of them.
We have a special guest who just jumped into the studio, actor extraordinaire, Golden Globe nominee, star of the hit HBO series Ballers, and many more, Mr. Troy Garity.
Hell, you forgot one of the most biggest Dodger fans.
And one of the biggest Dodger fans. And
He's a homer.
He's a homer. He's an LA All-Star, Santa Monica native.
Yeah.
And a Peabody winner.
Oh,
now what?
me.
Get him straight.
Excuse me.
Right.
Yeah, but my World Series ring about 30 years old.
Kind of does it.
Man, 30 years old.
And my my Raider card that got a bad back. Those motherfuckers are
It's going the wrong way.
Oh my God.
So we got Trucker Dave on the line, our NFL analyst. Trucker Dave is driving the roads of America out there, and he gets a chance to analyze and watch a lot of NFL games. A big Patriots fan, and we're talking about the trade deadline. That's where you came in on the conversation, the trade deadline and what was done. And, I've made it very clear, me and the Raiders are going through a divorce. The minute that they hit the border of the state, I'm done.
Yeah, it's tough. I hear you.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Are you still on board?
Man, the Rams keep hitting me in the DM, and I'm like,
I know, man. The Rams making
they're
moves,
like,
man.
they sending me these dirty pics, and I'm like, delete.
You naked pictures.
But I'll tell you what,
Championship rings.
I'm happy for AC. Like, he shouldn't be playing for Oakland right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a generational talent like
You're right.
Khalil
Wow.
Mack, and you
Yep.
let him go
Yes.
for some unknown variables,
Exactly.
You deserve to lose.
that's disrespectful.
Come
I mean,
on,
that's
man.
like
You
it-
can't do
It's
that.
disrespectful to the game.
At a certain point, listen, I'm a firm believer that all organizations reflect their top brass. And,
Yeah, I
that's
agree
true.
with that.
Wow.
and
I agree with that.
Mark Davis, buddy, like
What are you doing?
that's 2018,
Come on,
Chucky.
man.
Like you
I
got
know,
to
man.
Yeah, the
Come
game
on.
is passed you by.
come
apparently.
on, Holmes.
That's-
Like
yeah.
you give Gruden $100 million, but you send
Guaranteed.
Khalil Mack. Like that's
I
not.
know.
That's just not smart.
That's how.
But
This
you
is
know
one
what, it's
situation where I
10
think you
years,
should go with the
too.
sabermetrics.
10 years. Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
10
10-year
years.
deal for a coach?
Give him a couple of years and see how it's going to pan out because Gruden, the game has passed him by. He's gotten really
Clearly.
top talent right now. And it's
All of the talent on the team except for Derek Carr is gone.
I mean, they talk.
and he's blaming him.
They talk beast mode out of retirement.
They
Should,
I
because
know,
they
man.
sure did. They sure did.
You know what I
They
mean?
sure
And,
did,
like-
the Raiders.
Man.
Yeah.
So,
But 10 years. If you give him $100 million, what is Belichick worth? I mean,
Wow,
you gotta-
real talk. That's
That's
a good
real
point.
talk.
That is a very serious.
That is-
You have to give Bill
unbelievable,
Belichick
man.
$1 billion and a piece of the organization,
Right.
If a guy that goes to the Super Bowl every year, basically.
I kind of feel like
Yeah.
a coal miner asking to bring my job back.
right.
the
Cole's dead,
and-
baby.
and-
It's over.
And the Raiders are like, nah, we're gone.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you
man,
need to,
100%.
you've been replaced.
Yep.
Now, how are they
Yeah,
going to
it's
rebuild that team with 4 draft picks? You tell me that. How can you do that? That's not even possible.
Well, even if you got 5, even if they get 5, because they're probably going to get a number 1 for Derek Carr when they trade him to the Giants, or if they trade him to Jacksonville,
He'd be
quarterback,
great
you
in
get a number
Jacksonville.
1 for it. Yeah, he will be great in Jacksonville. I mean, I don't think Jameis Winston would have been bad in Jacksonville. Anything is better than what you have,
Yeah.
But at the same time, what are you going to do with them draft picks?
I'll be honest, I don't think they really care. They're
No.
going to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
They're
And
gonna get paid.
every stadium is going to be 50-50 fan base, and it's all
Yeah, that's
wagering.
true.
It's all wagering now, anyways. So I
Wow,
mean,
that's a good point.
you're going to be in it's going to be like a live casino.
Exactly.
So like,
Yep.
That just happens to have football playing in the back.
come on, man. It's like,
Yeah.
it's rough.
It's a bad, and I've maintained it. This is
It's a bad cocktail.
And look,
it's a bad cocktail.
and
Something's
I am-
going to happen.
I am-
It's not going to work out.
I am Sureño. I am Southern California
yep.
all day. However, I love Oakland. I've always
Love
loved
town
Oakland.
business.
I love everything about Oakland.
Yeah.
You all
You're
count.
California. I was about to say, you're California.
Well, no, I'm not all California now.
What don't you fool with?
The city?
And I don't fool with San Francisco.
Yeah, you're fool with the city. You don't like the city. I ain't mad at
No. But
you.
like,
Bay.
I mean, the Oakland Raiders going to Las Vegas, whatever, man.
I can't take
Like,
it.
it's not
Well,
all
let's
me.
get back to Trucker Dave. While we got you on the horn, you like the Rams moves. There was a lot of moves that were made. I was surprised. It felt like this trade deadline at the football in the NFL was more busy than normal. There was a lot of
Yeah, it
teams who
was.
seemed like they're making, more moves. As a Patriots fan, were there any moves that you wish they would have made?
I wish they would have. They were talking about, re-looking back at getting Jamie Collins back. But if I were them, I would give up whatever you had to give up to get Chandler Jones back. You were going to
Yeah,
give up
Chandler
somebody,
Jones was
man.
an
You
L.
need that edge rusher, and edge rusher is so serious. So that's what I would have looked at doing if I was them, because coming down the stretch with the way Kansas City is playing, I mean, you beat the team once, but trying to beat them twice is not going to be easy.
No, but they'll do it because Andy Reid will find a way to lose. But my question is, are you happy with the way so far that Josh Gordon has looked?
Yeah, I'm happy with Josh Gordon, but it looks like they're having a little bit of a hard time getting him the ball. From what I see, it looked like Brady is just a little bit slow. It looked like age just a little.
I mean,
bit
he is 68, so it's you have to give him a pass.
Yeah, because when he get around the goal line, it's like they run the ball in. They won't pass the ball in.
Yeah, it used to be lights out.
Yeah, it used to be lights out around the goal line, and now it looks like he's a little bit timid around the goal line. But Josh Gordon is doing what he has to do, man. I mean, you can't say anything about him. They said he was tardy, and they were going to bench him for the first quarter, but they didn't. And they let him play. But the offense should get clicking. I thought that injury with Shoney Michel was pretty big, but it wasn't.
Well, getting Edelman back,
week to week.
Yeah, and getting Edelman back, and then picking up Gordon, and then you still have Gronk gives Brady a lot of options.
Yeah, Gronk looks terrible too, though.
Yeah, but I mean,
he does, but he's big, man. He gets hurt all of the time.
Yeah.
So
Gronk is also 68 in football years because he's been beat up so many times.
Yep.
Halfway through the season, who do you like other than the Rams? I mean, I can't say enough about the Rams personally,
right?
To the point where I don't even talk about them. And the Rams now one move I will say,
they didn't lose.
Honestly, who's going to beat the Rams?
No, they're a super team.
They really are. The best chance that you had was
last
last Sunday, and Ty Montgomery tricked it off, and they shipped him out of there promptly. That's one thing that I love about football.
Yeah.
You mess up in football, you don't have a job tomorrow.
Miss an extra point, miss a field goal.
I can't use it.
Yeah.
Find something.
What are you doing
That's
here?
how football is, man. Football will get rid of you in a second, and they did. I mean, they're saying it's a pretty good move for Baltimore to pick him up as a running back, but my boy was listening to Skip and Shannon, but I didn't get to hear the whole conversation of what they had to say about it. But it's going to be interesting to see how it goes, down the stretch. It's going to be real interesting, really, really interesting. You don't know who's going to get hurt, so that's why you can't say too much right now.
You don't,
That's
but
the
I'm
thing
sticking with
about
the Rams
football.
because there needs to be a colossal amount of injuries. You need a 52-car pileup to stop the Rams at this point because they got everything.
They got everything.
They got everything,
did, but
and they got a great coach.
Good job, though.
Green Bay
did a
has
good
done the best
man.
job, the best job that you can do against them, and it still didn't get them a dub.
But you know what? I really think that play that Sam Shields made before halftime really, really changed the whole game. That play that Sam Shields, he pinned him inside of the 5-yard line, with that when he went down the ball on that punt.
Right.
And then they get the safety, and then they get the touchdown. So they go into halftime, and it's 10-8.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of Aaron Rodgers getting the ball with better field position,
Right.
and it's 13-0 or 17-0. That
Big
was
play.
a big play that Sam Shields made, man. But what I saw with the Rams is I saw them running a lot of crossing routes. I didn't see
They
them
sure
really
did.
go deep because of Cooper Kupp, his injury. But if maybe Green Bay's defense showed us some kind of a blueprint that you can do with them,
With a
'Cause
better
Green
set of
Bay played
personnel.
a good game, man.
But Cooper Kupp is
They
coming
played
back this
a good
week.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they played a good game. I was impressed with the way the Packers played. But if you look at their schedule, I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs, man. I think.
And I mean, and the
schedule,
praise for Aaron Rodgers, I've never seen more praise for an active football player. I don't even remember people slobbing down Joe Montana like this when Joe Montana was the greatest football player in the world. I don't remember, people love Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady
they do.
came out talking about how inspiring it is to watch him and how
I know, they
it's
he did say that.
Jeez Louise. Okay, he's good.
It's his skill set that allows him to do a lot. I don't see him really reading the defenses. You see him moving around in the pocket, and then somebody usually uncovers, and then that's where he
can put the ball
because
on the money. Let's not make
He can put the ball wherever he looks.
He only has one
Yeah.
ring. He has one ring.
Well, the
They consider him
NFC
better
too.
than Tom Brady.
Yeah, they do. They
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
This is the part that's
Yes, they
mind blowing to me.
It's unbelievable. I'm sorry.
I mean, I can't tell you how many people have told me that they think Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback of all
they do.
time.
They say that,
Not
man.
just right now, of all
Yeah.
time.
But that's
dang.
But that's the same way I feel about that Mike Trout argument. Because you guys
Nobody says that Mike Trout is the greatest player of all time as much as they say that
they do.
they as much. You hear Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback of all time
Yep.
now for
Yep,
about
you
2
do.
years. At least
Not
weekly,
more than
somebody
that.
says it.
Yeah, more than
Yeah,
that.
more than
A
that.
little bit longer
Since
than
he won the Super Bowl in Dallas.
There's so many times.
Yep, and that was 2010.
There's so many times that he just chucks it up.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
still
and the
down, but
defense
it's not
tricks or something. Yeah.
Why is he in that situation in the first place?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Tom Brady blows you out.
Tom Brady blows you out. The game.
Yeah.
And I tell you what else. Tom Brady leaves the Super Bowl with the lead.
Yeah.
The chances are it's not on Tom Brady when they lose, usually.
Or
Yeah,
Joe
yeah,
Montana.
that's true.
Or Joe Montana. Don't even talk about Joe Montana. Don't even bring him up.
People are a victim of the moment. This is the problem.
Yeah, this is the problem with social media.
They
And
called him and like, oh, this dude is the best ever. Aaron Rodgers is not better than Tom Brady.
No. it's not.
today, let alone all time.
Right.
I can't roll. Well, Trucker Dave, appreciate you. It's been a crispy conversation. Wow, appreciate that 5G you're sitting on. Let me know which part of the world you're in so that I can come over there and get on the high def, because you sound like you must be with Verizon Wireless. You sound like James Earl Jones is setting up your connection.
Well, it's all good. It's all good, fellas. Just hit me up next time, and we'll talk.
All right, Trucker Dave, thanks.
Be safe.
All right, you got to take care.
All right, Trucker. That's
Trucker Dave.
Where's he at?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even ask him what his handle was.
How you know Trucker Dave?
Trucker Dave drives the mail, and he drives the mail now between Dallas and Chicago.
Yes.
And we connected with him in Chicago. He's a listener of the pod, and he actually knows what he's talking about. Trucker Dave, we connected with him when we shot our Advantage Omar and Terry stuff in Chicago, and
That's amazing.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. And so he went to a Bears Patriots game, and he loves the Patriots. And the Ozone was able to help him out to get some tickets to his. He'd never seen the Patriots play before,
Oh, well, I love that.
and so yeah, love is
I
love.
love a truck driver.
Yep. So all right, folks, let's get to what we're here for.
What are we here for? Are we here for war?
Huh, good God.
What is it good for?
Oh, absolutely. Say it again now. Yeah, no, so you know what we're not here for is the Boston Red Sox championship parade.
Why not? They dented the trophy
It's-
already. They
it's-
said
Throwing stuff at it?
somebody threw a beer bottle and damaged it.
Freaking Bostoners, dude. Freaking Southies. Mark Wahlberg, get your people under control. What are you doing out there, Ben Affleck? I wish I could name a black Boston celebrity, but I'll leave that for later. Come on. I'm talking about a homegrowner. Silence sweeps over the crowd. So, Ellis Burks?
Move on.
So, all right, folks. This is actually my most depressed time of the year because my favorite thing has left me. And it's a season of transition. I love springtime because baseball is starting. I love October because it's my birthday. It's also two of my brother's birthdays. And it's the Major League Baseball playoffs, which is the greatest thing in sports. Unfortunately, for 2 years straight, my team has come up short. Last year, we came up short from a dynamic squad that found every way to win. I actually was just impressed with how good they were. This year, although one could argue that this year's Red Sox team is better than last year's Astros team, I think it's arguable, but I won't even go as far as to say that that's the case because I felt like last year's Astros team had better pitching. But this year, the Dodgers partially gifted a World Series to the Red Sox, while the Red Sox, being a superior team, was much obliged to pound the Dodgers into submission for playing the game the wrong way.
I don't feel like they were gifted.
No. I said partially gifted. I'm not taking anything away from the Red Sox. They were the best team wire to wire.
And by the way,
from the day that they signed JD Martinez, they were the best team in baseball.
But they consider them one of the greatest teams of all time.
I saw that, and that's a hoax. This is another phony number. And you know why they're saying that?
Well,
No, here's why they're saying that. Because total wins of the season plus wins in the postseason.
Which was crazy. I give them more credit for winning in the postseason the way that they did, more so than that regular season schedule.
I mean, they shut people down.
they pounded them out.
Yeah, and they only lost 3 games. They beat the Astros, the Dodgers.
I think they
and
have
the
to be
Yankees.
up there with one of the best teams of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, 108 wins.
Hold on a second. At that point, we're talking about World Series winners. We're not just talking about best teams of all time. And from what I saw from baseball, in my baseball memory, it's always a tricky stat because up until 95, teams didn't have a chance to get an extra 3 or 4 wins just based on the division series,
Right.
if you remember. Do I think that they're better than the 87 Cardinals?
Hold up. I don't think that the best team ever.
That's what we're saying.
But
That's what we're talking about.
saying. They're saying that they're one of the
saying,
best
there you
teams
go.
of all time.
But they're not going to beat like the 2000 Yankees or none of that.
This is what it's 98 Yankees that everybody they're putting them in that group with the 98 Yankees.
Nah.
Let
me tell you something. I take that Toronto Blue Jays team
over everybody except for maybe the Murderers Row Yankees, and only because I didn't see them.
Yeah. That you don't remember that Toronto Blue Jays squad? Oh my goodness.
They're the best squad in history.
That was one
top to bottom. Ricky Henderson leads you off. Roberto Alomar, Paul Molitor, Joe Carter, John Olerud,
David Cone.
Who isn't the pitcher? David Cone, David Wells, Dave Stewart,
Tony Fernandez,
Steve,
Roberto Alomar. I mean, come on.
They got everybody on that. Devo. The outfield is locked.
In their lineup. They did not literally have a hole in their lineup.
And a good old Ed Sprague if you need it.
Sprinkle into some Sprague.
And some Kelly Gruber.
Okay, so who's the Boston hole in their lineup?
I actually think
Sandy Leon. You can go down to the bottom of the lineup. The bottom lineup is suspect. It's not. But what happened?
JBJ showed up, but JBJ technically would have been a hole.
But they produced at the bottom of their lineup during the postseason.
Well,
that's
see,
what
I think it comes down to my point about the Raiders. I think sports teams are always top-down organizations.
I agree.
I just think that
it's a good way to put it.
The Boston system beat the LA system.
Yes,
without a doubt.
Wow.
Because the LA Dodger team, that is
built on
I'm old.
metrics.
Well, no, I think that's the deepest, most talented Dodger team of all time.
Honestly, I feel like the depth is actually what ended up biting them in the butt.
I don't
because in my opinion, we have too many outfielders. We have too many options. We're going to go real quick. Let's talk about game by game. And folks, I'm not just giving you homer work. The reason that I say that is because the Red Sox ran through the Yankees. They ran through the Astros, which is the most impressive thing they did, which was to me was more impressive than them running through the Dodgers. The Dodgers, though 4-1 is getting ran through, were the most competitive that they played in their run. The Dodgers were in every game, and because of their system and that personnel, they didn't get it done. Now, maybe that system, I don't believe that the sabermetric system works. Maybe that system works with a different set of players, but when you start looking at your clinching, your elimination game lineup, has Kike Hernandez in the 3-hole,
but let me ask you
playing center field, you got problems.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. Have you ever seen the sabermetrics work for any team? It's good enough to get you there or somewhere, but it's not
somewhere
good
near.
Enough. Yes, but it's not good enough to get you over the hump.
No, because you need a manager. You need Tommy Lasorda to say, you know what, Troy, it's you tonight.
Yeah, I got a feeling. You got it.
Well, I don't think it's all or none. I think sabermetrics and analytics, if
they have a place.
If they are not the same thing.
Yeah, they're the same thing.
They're the same thing. That they do serve a purpose.
I agree.
The great thing about baseball is it is a game of statistics. But your numbers, your statistical probability, right? You won't return to the norm unless you have a large sample size. So if you're
162 games,
if you're a career 300 hitter,
over 162 games,
240 for the first half, you're probably going to hit 380 for the second half.
Cue Matt Carpenter.
Come around your career norm, right? When you are in a 7-game series, you can't apply.
You better preach, OG. That's why we have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Troy Garity spitting the real.
You cannot apply the same analytics to a 7-game series because you don't have you don't have enough numbers to quantify, to have the numbers revert to the norm.
I agree.
So you have to go with your gut. When you have Hyun-Jin Ryu in game 1, is it 1 or 2?
He was in 2. First was game 1.
When you have Hyun-Jin Ryu
pitching very well.
Pardon me for all my Korean people. I think it's Ryu.
Yeah, Hyun-Jin Ryu.
When you have Hyun-Jin Ryu dealing in game 2,
gets in the 5th, gets in a little trouble.
You need to let him get out of that trouble. You can't bring in a cold body
in a 40-degree game.
And there's no design that he's necessarily struggling. Like, we are in that, and they gave it up.
Gave up the booty. Ryan Madsen inherited 7 runners as a reliever, and all 7 of them scored.
Right. Now, listen, perhaps Cody Bellinger can't hit left-handed pitchers, so he's not going to start against a left-handed pitcher.
Perhaps.
That may make more sense to me. But
I need my superstar, and that's what they're trying to groom Cody Bellinger to be, to hit against everybody. That's just my take.
No
but
doubt.
I hear what
No
you're saying,
doubt.
to your point.
But beyond that, I can't really mess with you if you are a Major League Baseball player and you can't hit it to the opposite field, or you can't lay down a bunt.
Hello.
Right? That's the first thing they teach you.
I can't mess with you. I can't mess with you.
No.
I don't need you on my roster.
This is a simple game of pepper at this point.
Yes,
You're just
that's
trying to make
a
contact.
drill that we've
This
learned.
is a drill that you've learned that you just make contact.
It's just making
especially
contact.
If you're having problems with certain pitches.
Correct. So the philosophy comes from the A's organization that the Dodgers implement, right? That's on-base
The money ball.
percentage
Yes.
plus long ball. So Dodgers take a lot of walks, and they also strike out a lot. But they, if you get people on base, you hit a home run, the odds are over 162 games you'll win your division.
Right.
If you have those types of players.
Right.
Does not work in the post.
It doesn't work when you
Doesn't work in
face
the post.
David Price, Chris Sale, Nate Eovaldi throwing 101 miles an hour.
Right.
Walker
You have-
Buehler. It doesn't work because
You have to put the ball in play.
The bums at that point, for the most part, are at the house now.
Yes.
The bums aren't. They're no longer in the playoffs for you to make those numbers average out.
But let me put it like this. Also, Eduardo Rodriguez came in and he gave it up later on in the game. But what he did do was to suppress their lineup to keep their better hitters out of what they feel like their better hitters out of the lineup for an extended period of time.
Their whole lefty contingent.
Yeah, because they
Muncy,
were going by the numbers,
Bellinger. So now you got guys who you feel are your best players, your best hitters, on the bench
for more than half of the game.
6 innings worth.
Yes.
All because the numbers say that they can't hit a lefty or they refuse to go to the other way.
I have a problem with that.
I have a major problem with
You
that.
should have a
Big
problem with that.
Yeah.
I have a problem with quite a few things. I have a problem with the idea that Cody Bellinger is getting bailed out and nobody's really putting on him what should be put on him, because ever since October of last year, Cody Bellinger was exposed as not being able to go the other way and not being able to hit the off-speed pitch. And he reverts to a softball-esque swing when he gets 2 strikes, which is embarrassing for one. It's not befitting of a major league player. For 2, he's so scared of that curveball that they throw fastballs by him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw him hit 2 line drives to
On
the
a-
opposite field.
But how many? But out of how many at bats? That's what
This is the key.
Right, but I almost feel like this is a game plan that is given to him. Like,
No question.
I can see that you do it. You've done it.
Right.
But
You can. Do
You did it. You did it against Josh Hader. You did it against Hader.
Yeah.
so I don't understand.
Yeah, because they're going,
Which makes it worse because that makes it a choice.
But
I
this
think
is
it's-
StatCast. This
I
is
think it's-
launch angle and everything else that shouldn't be equated into your game or your approach at the plate.
I think it's systemic. I think it's the system that they preach. No
I
doubt.
agree. So
Like,
now let's have the round table about this. Does the blame lie on Dave Roberts? At the game, Rich Hill, who shut my mouth, everyone in Dodger land, I was wrong. In game 4, Rich Hill pitched the game of his life.
True.
Other than that no-hitter that they took him out of, which also was ridiculous, down in Miami.
Right.
Side note, this was a lot higher stakes. Rich Hill, in my personal opinion, earned every dollar of that $48 million deal that they gave him in that game, because he put the Dodgers in a position to actually put pressure on the guys that eventually won the World Series.
Right.
And he left the game, should have been a winner in real life. You can't need 9 outs and give up 9 runs. That's never going to work in any league you play in. Now, Rich Hill, which we did not see at the game, apparently, you tell me, Rich Hill, apparently him and Dave Roberts had a conversation. Dave Roberts and Rich Hill said, hey, keep an eye on me. He got in a little bit of trouble. Dave Roberts went out to have a conversation with him.
Because of the previous conversation that they had.
That's what I just said.
Uh-huh.
He said, keep an eye on me.
Mm-hmm.
He comes out as keeping an eye on him to probably say, hey, how you feeling? You ready? I think you got this guy. Let's try this approach, that approach, give you a little breather, get back to what's working. Rich Hill doesn't even have a conversation.
Dave Roberts walked out to the bump, and Rich Hill gave him the ball. Promptly.
And walked off.
And walked off.
Yes.
That's terrible.
That is terrible.
That's terrible.
Because that's saying that you
terrible.
don't want it.
And Dave Roberts gotta eat it. And Dave Roberts has to eat it. Or is it saying, I've been so conditioned by sabermetrics that I usually just go 5, so of course he's coming out to get me.
Watch me.
I don't know. I used to pitch, right?
Yep.
So you can go into a zone where you're kind of like the world doesn't exist.
Right.
And your adrenaline, you are on a tightrope of adrenaline. So when you're out there and you see the coach coming out, you may not think clearly, and obviously he wasn't. I don't know why Dave Roberts went out there. He wasn't in trouble.
He wasn't.
He walked a batter, and then he struck someone out.
No, there was a runner on first and second. That's why it was a 3-run bomb that Ryan Madsen gave up to Mitch Moreland.
He struck out a batter, and then Roberts went to the mound.
No, he got an. I could be wrong here. He got an out. He walked a guy. And then somebody.
Google?
Yeah, he got an out. He walked a guy, and then somebody else was on base. There's 2 runners on base because when Ryan Madsen comes in, Mitch Moreland hits a bomb. That's a 3-run bomb.
He struck someone out, and Roberts went to the mound.
I thought it was I think he walked somebody, and Roberts comes to the mound. But either way it goes, this is my point. I too used to pitch.
There's no communication.
And was wild. I was a wild pitcher, but I threw very hard.
I don't want to see you on the mound.
Nobody wanted to see me on the mound. You know how many times I've hit him? I
would hit him on purpose.
I was wild, and I had a hose. The great chance that if you get a hit off of me, I'm going to hit you next time. You don't have to hit a bomb. I'm out of control. So, never once.
And he threw hard.
Never once ever have I ever voluntarily gave up the ball. To the point where I'm willing to hurt the team. I've never.
You're a selfish ball player.
I'm a selfish ball player at that point. Because I believe that when I focus up, they can't hit me. I've never seen a great pitcher voluntarily give up the ball. I haven't seen it.
It was a 2-hitter. 2-hit.
And dominating
a
two.
2-hit shutout.
Dominating two.
I don't understand.
And also, so then this makes me want to add this.
Wait, Rich Hill only gave up 1 earned run, so that means that it was only one person on.
That's impossible. It was 4-0.
No, and then Madsen. Then there's a
walk.
walk.
Somebody.
He pitched 6.1 innings. He had 1 earned run.
Yeah.
Look at the top of the 7th. That's interesting. I didn't know that he only gave up 1. I thought he gave up. No, but see, he still could have gave up 1 earnie if it was a walk and then a bomb. On the first pitch, no, I'm sure about this. On the first pitch, Ryan Madsen gave up a bomb. He didn't walk somebody and then give up a bomb. The first pitch, Ryan Madsen gave up a bomb. He'll get to it. So
Ryan Madsen didn't come in. Wasn't it Florio?
No,
that was last
Madsen
game.
gave up the booty on a bomb that was a Darryl Strawberry bomb that would have went to the parking lot.
Moreland, right?
Yep, to Mitch Moreland on a changeup. You throw 97 and you get beat on a changeup.
Well, that's what happened
on the first pitch
as well.
But that's
but Nate Eovaldi had already gone 6 or 7 scoreless. That's not really the same thing.
That's not what happened.
What happened?
Florio came in.
No, Troy, you're drunk right now. This isn't it.
Can you tell?
Yeah. We have a bar for you just in case you want to keep it going.
Hold up a second.
So while everybody's looking at stats, this is what I want to tell the people out in audience land. You know what? Pitchers get in trouble. That's what pitchers do.
Just like boxers get knocked down, whatever. You got to get up.
And you know what pitchers also do? They get out of trouble. Pitchers have this beautiful thing where they can get, when they get runners on base, they can get 2 outs with 1 pitch. It's called the pitcher's best friend. It's a double play. They do it all the time. And if not, they have other ways of getting out of trouble.
Yeah, they brought in Scott Alexander after Rich Hill. He's the left-handed specialist. He came in and he gave up a home run.
No.
Yes, dude, it's right here.
Game 4.
He gave up a double. No, he gave up he walked someone, and then they yanked him, and then they put in Madsen.
They did bring in Scott Alexander.
Alexander walked somebody.
Gave up an earney.
So they went lefty on lefty and stayed with Alexander, who was clearly a reduced version of Rich Hill.
No, they brought in.
I hear what you're saying.
Right, they brought.
And then Madsen comes in and gives up the booty.
So we went Hill, Alexander,
and Madsen,
Kenley
and Madsen gets a hold. Unbelievable. Madsen gets a hold for that, and only gives up 1 on his record.
What a nice guy.
Unbelievable.
Well, there's another issue too that happened. I'm a firm believer that closers need to close games. Unless you are Mariano Rivera, you don't. If you bring in your closer in a non-closed situation, there's a problem.
You know what? If you bring in your closer in a non-safe situation, they will create a safe situation.
Yeah,
They
no
always
doubt.
do.
Yeah.
Craig Kimbrell just did it in that game.
You cannot do it. They are not wired like
No.
that. I know it sounds so ridiculous.
No, it
No, but it's
doesn't.
the truth.
But only the
For
elite
baseball players, you
of the
understand
elite
that.
can do that. And I've only seen one pitcher be able to do it, and that was Mariano.
Okay, let's top that off. Well, it's been more than one pitcher can do that. Eckersley used to do it. I mean, you can go back in the day. They used to do it all the time. Just modern day history, they don't do it. So what you're talking about is that Jansen has this problem, and then they bring him back the next night and do the same thing all over again.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
It's a problem.
So
I mean, the whole stadium knew it.
The whole
Like,
stadium
oh
knew
my
what
God.
time
The
it was.
whole stadium.
and it's not like Kinley is a bum.
in both
No.
games.
No, it's not like Kinley's a bum. Kinley
not a
Jansen's
bum.
one of the more
Elite closers.
dominant closers of the last 10 years.
And they brought him in a non-safe situation
2 times.
two times. Created
On
created
medication.
created his own problem and lost by it.
Yes, you can't do that. You can't.
You can. And then Boston can have a parade. Actually, that's what we're coming to find. For me, overall, I want to read that statement that I sent to you guys that Puig made, which I thought was so accurate.
I
Let's
love you,
see.
Puig.
Hey, man, you know what I want to play really
Puig,
quickly?
you deserve the MVP, kid.
He sure did.
He sure did. He deserved the MVP of the LCS, and honestly, he deserved the MVP of the Dodgers, even in a loss. Yasiel Puig was the only dude that was ready.
MVP.
I got a hit today.
When?
Today. First at bat, I got a hit.
I have 3.
They were lucky, though.
You too, eh? My boy, the MVP, Bellinger.
That's Puig asking Cody Bellinger why he was NLCS MVP and Puig wasn't.
Right.
And that's on Cut 4, and it's fantastic.
I got a hit today.
When?
Today. First at bat, I got a hit.
I have 3.
They were lucky, though.
You too, eh? My boy, the MVP, Bellinger.
So
Oh,
Puig,
wait.
said this in Spanish. I just want to get this out there. Puig said this: "We could have done more and won the championship, but it got out of our hands. We practically gifted it to Boston, who is a great team. We did things we shouldn't have done. We made bad decisions. We did bad things on the field that gave them an easier victory." I thought that was really accurate for him to say that. He's not even saying that. I don't feel like he's advancing the Dodgers in any way. He's saying, look, they beat us, but we made it really easy on them for them to beat us by the way that we decided to play the game. And he was only knock I had on Puig was him overthrowing his cutoff in the first game,
Which was big.
which put extra pressure on Clayton Kershaw again.
But Puig batted 298, and Cody Bellinger batted 118.
No, stop it. I mean, he is.
We can't.
Is it perverted?
We stopped it. We stopped it. The season is over.
No,
Cody Bellinger stopped it.
Puig from second year on, everyone's like, oh, he's a clown. He is the most consistent and best Dodger there is, other than Turner.
Only other than Matt Kemp, because they don't want to let Matt Kemp play.
Well, my whole problem with Puig was because they brought him up early and he performed, and he wasn't ready yet, really. He just performed. And they put so much pressure on him to be something that he wasn't at that point.
He wasn't a year out of Cuba.
Yeah, he needed.
By the way,
he needed to develop.
He spent a year in Cuba getting picked up by the Coast Guard in the ocean,
right.
staying in like safe houses in Mexico, dealing with cartels.
Not thinking about the fastball on
That's
the 3-1 count.
Right. Came here and owned American baseball.
He sure did. When he first came up, forget about it.
Well, he can't play. I'll tell you, I'll watch Puig play over any other player in the major leagues.
Wow.
Any day.
You went far.
Jeez.
For sure.
Over
Definitely.
Mookie Betts?
Yes.
No,
I like Mookie, though.
I love Puig, but Mookie Betts just showed and proved what time it was.
Yeah.
Well, he got one hit all World Series, so you know what I'm saying?
I think he ended up with 3, maybe. But either way it goes, when they focus up on you to clamp down on you, which is exactly what happened to Puig after Puig showed his ass, David Price made it a point to dominate Yasiel Puig, and he did exactly that. And
I don't care. Dodgers aren't there. They're not in that game 4 if there's no Yasiel Puig. They're not in the World Series.
I'm all the way with you.
Yeah.
I'm not fighting it.
But-
I'm not fighting it.
But the problem is that they didn't play as a team. They're going by the book. Those numbers, those virtual numbers, and those virtual numbers have no kind of calculation for human tendencies in pressure or stressful situations.
It's impossible.
So then when you do that, you put guys in situations that Cody Bellinger is not a pressure player. Not a knock on Cody Bellinger. It's just his character. So if he can't perform in pressure, don't put him in
Well, yes and no, because you know why? I think he's not a pressure player because he hasn't had the tools and the instruction to use the skill set he has. He has the tools to succeed.
Does. He has a hose.
He's super fast.
He's got crazy pop.
And no one has been able to penetrate his mind to say, listen, you could potentially be a Hall of Famer if you learn two really simple things. Bunt and how to go the other way.
Even with the speed, you don't even have to bunt. Just make contact.
Make contact. These very simple things. Yeah. I'm not talking about drastic changes to his game. There's nothing he can do about them playing him out of position.
Yeah.
So I'm actually not mad at him in center field at him. Yeah. I'm mad at Sabermetrics and whoever says that he should be in center field. He should be a first baseman. Yeah. Now let's talk about
just a fast first baseman.
Just a super fast, he's super athletic first baseman. There's nothing wrong with that. So let's talk about where everybody goes from here. For the Dodgers, Troy, I talked to you off camera, and you had I loved who you think the Dodgers keep and get rid of. I had a different take with just a couple tweaks. Lay it out. What do the Dodgers do from right now? Who's the Dodgers opening day roster come April 1?
I think they need to get this catcher from the Marlins. I'm blanking on his name.
JT Realmuto.
Yep.
Is a stud.
Is a stud.
He's available.
The Yankees are after him too.
They need to get Yankees don't need another catcher.
Yes, they do.
Oh man, they do. They need one that can catch.
So
maybe they can sign Grandal.
So we could keep Grandal.
No. They meaning the Yankees.
I think Grandal got burned out.
Yeah, but Grandal's in the free agency now, and then they already.
I don't think they keep Grandal. I think he lost favor with the fans. It's hard to lose favor with the fans.
I think that's the big issue. I think the big issue plaguing the Dodgers for next season is catcher. All right, so whoever they bring in they need to do better in the post. First base,
Mad Max.
No, what's his name?
Who?
Bellinger. I'm not giving up on Belly. So first base, Belly. Second base, Mad Max. Mm-hmm. If Max can't do it, then I think you sign Dozier. Shortstop, Seager back. Third base,
JT.
Right field, Turner. Center field is
right field, Puig.
Right field, Puig. Sorry. Center field, Jock. I'm off. I don't think Jock.
Let me tell you what you said the other day that I thought was right.
Who I want in left field is I want Andrew Tolles.
There we go. Andrew Tolles was the only player unfortunately, including Justin Turner. Andrew Tolles was the only player when they lost to the Cubs in 2016, and I went to Chicago for 2 games. Andrew Tolles was the only player that wanted to win that series as far as offensively.
He hits for high average.
He's a quintessential leadoff guy. And he's very fast, and he runs the bases well.
Yes.
Well, who they need?
He's got the clutch gene.
Who they need in center field is that kid that's been dwelling down there in the minor league, just like Buehler was, is Alex Verdugo. And they brought him up to play in this postseason.
You think he's the truth?
Oh, he is the truth. But he hits for average. He makes contact. He has speed. He's a 5-tool player. But the Dodgers, for some reason, the stats or the analytics or whatever they go by said that he shouldn't be there. But you got guys playing out of place. And it always comes back.
Always comes back
to bite you.
It always does.
It doesn't work.
There's not even gray area about that.
No.
It comes back and hurts you. Cody Bellinger is not a center fielder. You got Matt Kemp,
nor is Kiki Hernandez.
and you have Matt Kemp sitting on the bench, and you're going to tell me that Matt Kemp if Matt Kemp can't play a major league outfield, then he shouldn't be in the game anymore.
I agree.
Bottom line.
Well, I don't want Matt Kemp playing center field, though.
I'll take him in center field over Kiki Hernandez and Cody Bellinger, even though he's a diminished version of what he was.
I thought Cody played pretty good.
Cody hurt you guys bad.
See, that's the thing. He takes bad routes, and they're balls, and actually
catchable balls.
He
hurt you in Boston.
Kiki hurt us way more than Cody did. Actually, bad routes. But so for me, hopefully Kershaw opts back in. I think Kershaw's going to get a back surgery or some procedure. Kershaw is a competitor. He knows that he doesn't have his velocity. It's not a news flash to him. This is the part that makes me so angry about it. It's not a news flash to him that he doesn't have his best stuff and what people say about him in the postseason. I personally feel like Clayton Kershaw, the pitcher that he is today, if he had the stuff that he had when he was a kid, would be totally lights out all the time. The question is, he hasn't lost Uncle Charlie. He hasn't lost the cutter. He hasn't lost the slider. He's developed the changeup. The question is whether or not he can get back to 94 or 95. That's the only question about Clayton Kershaw.
I don't think he needs to. I mean, Rich
Well, he
Hill,
really doesn't.
Rich Hill,
Yeah.
case in point, he's got the stuff to keep you off balance constantly. Listen, the back is a tricky. It's a tricky thing because when it starts to go, everything's going.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and
You lose your
also
core.
with age, he's not. I don't think he's gonna come back with that velocity. Even if he does, what does that last? A year? I think that he needs to sit down and come up with a new game plan and reinvent himself as a pitcher.
Perhaps. I don't feel that way because he's a big guy with a big trunk. And guys like that, to my experience, got cheese their whole lives. Nolan Ryan, I can guarantee you can still throw the ball 80 miles an hour.
Look at Justin
But
Verlander.
No, Justin Verlander lost his cheese at one point,
And
if
got
you
it
remember,
back.
and got it back. Max Scherzer still throws 100 on certain nights, and he's been
In the All-Star game.
and he's been throwing 220, 250 innings every year for 6-7 years.
But even if you have to reinvent yourself, look at Greg Maddux, because we always just laugh at Greg
Yeah.
Maddux when he was on the Cubs. He had fuzz, but
he used to.
but once he
But he
decided to
used to
take something off of the
destroyed.
ball, he focused on control.
Once Greg Maddux went to the Atlanta Braves and
Okay.
started hitting
With
spots,
Leo Manzoni,
there was no answer.
Here's the big difference. And I am not a Kershaw apologist. I actually, despite his numbers, think he's been very good in the postseason.
Right.
However, his numbers are much more pedestrian. And the problem that
Right.
Kershaw has is when he tries to overthrow.
Because he
and
doesn't get help from his
hold-
team.
Hold on. No. He doesn't get help. First of all, if the Dodgers aren't scoring runs, they're
doesn't
not
matter who's
winning.
pitching.
Right. Let's say they're scoring runs. When Kershaw tries to overdo it, his stuff comes out flat, and he is all
like
over
any
the
other
place, and he gives it up.
Walks people.
Greg Maddux, Scherzer, Verlander, when they overpower, they're on point. So
Greg
Kershaw,
Maddux
if
focused
Kershaw
on hitting his spot.
when Kershaw is relaxed, he doesn't need to pump 94. He is hitting his spots and keeping you off balance.
Well, let's bring up another point when people keep talking about Kershaw, because I'm high on Kershaw, but I know that he's just a shell of what he was. They changed his catcher. It is so important for pitchers to have their battery mate, and for some reason they lost AJ Ellis, and he has not been the same pitcher. Because,
he needs to get over it.
well,
because he
doesn't though. A lot of these guys don't get over it. He needs.
Remember, the Yankees kept Jose Molina for A.J. Burnett the year they won in 2009, the last time the Yankees won. They kept him for that because A.J. Burnett could not pitch without him, and A.J. Burnett actually powered them through.
Here's the thing. AJ Ellis is not on the team.
No, it's out.
and he hasn't been the same pitcher either. Since
Even when he had his good stuff,
even when
he
he
hasn't been the same pitcher.
yeah, because
you're talking about
go back and look at
You're talking about Kersh used to be a sub-2 guy.
yeah.
Like an insane, his numbers were insane.
And he lost A.J. Ellis, and I don't know if it's a mental block or
Yep.
whatever.
Before he lost his velocity.
Yasmani does not call a good game for Clayton Kershaw.
No, nor does he frame pitches.
And you recognize that his home runs, he's been giving up more home runs since
A.J. Ellis left.
Uh-huh.
Even when he still threw 95. We can't stress that enough.
And we've seen that what they've recognized now is that they put that kid Austin Barnes on him now, right?
Yep.
To maybe turn into that person that he needs, his battery mate. But pitchers like to have their battery mate. All these elite pitchers usually have one guy that they throw to. They don't have a bunch of guys. Yasmani really doesn't call a good game.
Correct.
And you can't.
And in the playoffs, he
I
couldn't
agree
even.
with you,
And
though.
in
He
the
should be
playoffs,
able
he
to get
couldn't
over
even
it.
catch the ball.
He just doesn't.
Well, that's on Kershaw.
Okay, so
think so.
then we go
Yes.
Buehler. For me, the starting rotation, I actually don't think the Dodgers need to go sign a big right arm. It doesn't hurt, but I don't think they need to do that. I like Buehler. I like Urias back to the starting rotation. I like Rue. I think you re-sign Rue. I've never had a problem with Rue.
I love Rue.
And I don't know who, but I know the Dodgers got to have some kid down there, whether it's Ross Stripling or whether
I would
it's
go to Stripling.
because Ross Stripling had a great season until did he get hurt?
He had a minor injury, but what they did was shift him back to the bullpen after
And his
after
mind
he went
got
through the
messed
dead
up.
arm phase. And
Yeah, that's what it was. He got the dead arm.
Instead of letting him ride through the dead arm phase, they put him in the bullpen. You need to let him ride it out.
But they were behind the 8 ball, and that's one of the reasons they did that.
Yeah.
But Ross Stripling is sufficient. Obviously, it never hurts to have more frontline pitching. But I think instead of trying to focus on a main frontline dude, the Dodgers could get a righty. I mean, they have the money, so they could do it. The Dodgers could get a number 2 righty, somebody that's somebody like Herman Marquez, or like somebody that's a Taiwan Walker type if they can get his mind right.
Right.
But the interesting thing that none of us said is that the Dodgers need to re-sign Machado. Nobody said that.
Well,
Well,
that's
but he doesn't-
superfluous. I said we don't need it.
Yeah, you don't. Where's he going to play?
I agree. And with Corey Seager coming back.
Where's he going to play? I mean, there's not, and I think that he might have lost, fan flavor as well.
I think so for sure.
Nah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Nah.
He rubbed the fans the wrong way.
Even Garvey was talking about it. He just not a good fit for Los Angeles like that.
That's what Garvey has to say?
Yeah, but for me,
When did Garvey say that?
he said it on Fox.
That night?
Yeah, that
I
night.
didn't see him.
Yeah.
I saw Ross Porter say it.
Listen, that was a bad-looking strikeout ending up on his knees.
Yeah,
right?
that was,
But, like,
for the series.
that's
On the
bad.
pitch, that was
Nah,
never a strike.
That,
You know what?
That was bad. But his whole,
His defense is fantastic.
his defense is fantastic. And by the way, so is his bat.
But he doesn't hustle though, and that's what they're putting on him right now. I believe in Manny Machado. I think that Manny Machado is
Top 5 player in the
one
league.
of the top 5 players in all
Top
of
10
baseball.
players, all of baseball.
Not even top 10. I believe he's in top 5. I can't
Let
really.
me ask you a question, Terry. You're playing baseball, right? You are one of the hottest shortstops in your generation. You hustle at the first base, you blow your knee out. You're done for
Manny
the
Machado
season.
has done it.
You're
let him finish
getting
the
to my
story.
point. You come back, you hustle, you do it again. All right?
You blow your knee out.
Right. You're finally healthy. You're putting up the numbers you're used to putting up, all world numbers.
All
right?
world numbers.
You
40,
are
50 doubles,
You are
40 bobs.
you are 3 games away from free agency and changing your family for generations to come. You're going to make between $200 and $300 million. You are running to first base on what 98% of the time is going to be a ground out. You're going to ease up, or you're going to risk blowing your knee out again.
Well, his was
Which is a mental block.
Well, but his was the one.
That's a problem. But
his
I
was
don't.
the one against the wall, and he blew out his knee one time running to first base, and he blew it out the other time in the batter's box. So it's just not that. It's just blowing out his knee in general because you have that little block in your mind. But the thing of it is that hustle is free, and even if you blow out your knee, you come out there to play the game. You don't come out there to play it halfway. You usually get hurt not going hard. But he hit a ball that he thought was gone.
Yeah, that was probably the worst
that's what
one.
took people the wrong
that
way.
was the worst one out of all of them.
Yeah, and I'm with it because some of the stuff that he had done in the games, I mean, he looked like he was a little dirty, but Manny Machado plays to win.
But that wasn't dirty. If you're a first baseman, you do not leave your foot on the bag.
Yeah, but Manny Machado, he didn't do it the right way. I mean, as far as because he could have hurt both of them.
But he didn't.
And when you pose,
He let you
need
know.
to pose like
and when
Puig
you
posed.
pose, and Puig was like, I got you.
Puig was like, I got you. Puig wanted to pose before he even had to swing. That's why he was doing the booty dance before he even
Puig hit it literally, no lie. Looked back at the dugout, started talking to the players.
I told you.
I love that kid.
Yeah,
set him up.
But the thing of it is that I agree with you, but Manny Machado has to hustle. People aren't forgiving when you don't hustle.
People just
And
aren't forgiving.
If you make millions of dollars, you got to run. That all we're asking you to do is to run. Even if it doesn't get out. If it hit off the wall, if J.D. Martinez decided to jump up and catch it, whatever.
Or if it hit off the wall and you end up taking a hard turn at first and staying at first.
Yeah.
Listen, 2 years ago, I would have said, do anything, get rid of any Dodger for Manny Machado, because I did not believe in Justin Turner.
You didn't?
No, I used to sign him when he was a second baseman with the Mets on my fantasy squad.
He put
And
up numbers.
he changed his approach so much.
Yeah.
And I just
That is
didn't.
super effective.
I didn't think it was real, but he's real. Like,
He's real.
he is one of the great clutch hitters of his time. Watching him take those postseason
Great
at-bats
ABs.
is
I think he batted
extraordinary.
like 313 during the postseason.
Nah, he's amazing. So Manny Machado, like, God bless him, but as long as he's not going to the Giants,
I feel like
The Giants look like they're trying to dive into that sabermetrics world as well because they're trying to get the Dodgers GM.
yeah, well, they can have him.
Yeah,
they
no
can
question.
have him. And then throw in Ned Coletti while you're at it.
But I disagree with you with Justin Turner because Justin Turner could actually play when he was in New York. It's just that he had David Wright blocking him.
That's
And-
correct.
And they gave him the platoon work. But when he got to play,
And
he put up numbers.
and he put up
He put
power.
up numbers.
Yeah.
But he couldn't play consistently. And baseball's about consistency. And when you plug and play guys like they did Matt Kemp. Oh, we watch Matt Kemp in these offs in the postseason, and he gets up in the 8th inning or the 9th inning to face Craig Kimbrell. Are you kidding?
And I've been chilling all day.
And I've been chilling all night. And you're saying, okay, man, you're up, Kemp.
Or when he starts, he hits a bomb.
Yeah. And then you sit him down.
Matt Kemp needs 4 at-bats a night.
Give him 4.
Give him 4 and watch.
If you can figure out how to get David Freese 4, you can figure out how to get Matt Kemp 4.
Matt's labor.
Yeah. Because for me, even though David Freese performed, he's a secret weapon. He's that last bullet in the chamber that you want to have.
Right, and he is good for sitting cold and coming in
Yes.
hot.
Yes, so you can take him out in those clutch situations and say, you know what? We got David Freese for that ass. Let's put him in there. Right?
But unfortunately, They haven't. They decided they made moves at the trade deadline that in theory made the team a lot better, but the way that they used these players did not make the team better. You go get Brian Dozier, who for 2 years, me and Troy have been sitting around saying, man, the Dodgers get Brian Dozier.
That's who they should have signed instead of Logan Forsythe.
Oh.
And
Chase Utley.
And Chase Utley. And
no doubt.
so we've been sitting around saying that for years now. We finally get Brian Dozier and he doesn't get to play. Brian Dozier's playing behind Kike Hernandez?
Are you kidding me?
Man, Manny Machado is going to make so much money.
Close to 300, right?
26 years old.
Oh, yeah. The dough is coming.
He's going to make close to 300.
Yeah.
Believe it. The dough is coming.
But look, the Dodgers out-hit the Boston Red Sox. The Dodgers batting average was 250, and the Boston Red Sox were 229.
Listen, there's certain you can't walk people. You
Can't
can't
walk people.
You can't allow.
Can't give them extra outs.
No,
when
the
Dodgers
that
gave
first
up a
game,
lot of
that
extra
first
outs.
game when David Freese dropped that fly ball,
Huge.
pass ball. That was it. That lost the game.
I mean, it was huge because what it did was it put Clayton Kershaw once again in the position of saying, I got to do everything myself.
Yeah.
And that with his diminished stuff, that's not going to work.
Would you go after Bryce Harper?
Yes. If I'm the Dodgers, I get rid of. See, now here's the thing for me. You can still trick people with Cody Bellinger, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If I'm the Dodgers, I get rid of Cody Bellinger. I get rid of Chris Taylor because all he wants to do is hit home runs for some reason. I get rid of. I'm going to tell you who I don't get rid of, and everybody else can go. I don't get rid of Ken Lee. I don't get rid of Puig. I don't get rid of Justin Turner. I don't get rid of Andrew Tolles. Everybody else, and I'm talking offensively, everybody else can go. I can't think of somebody else who
you give them the walking papers
if they need them.
Pig slip.
Because you actually only need such a tight core to make a run if your defense and your pitching is together. You go get Bryce Harper, and you let Bryce Harper play 181 games. You let him play 81 games in Dodger Stadium because Bryce Harper does play hard to his own detriment.
Yes.
Bryce Harper would be great with a Yasiel Puig.
And he can play center field.
He can play center field.
Get it.
That kid goes and gets it. Him and Puig can have a bravado fest. It can be a love zone.
Bring up that kid Verdugo.
It's Compton and Long Beach.
You know you're in trouble.
It is what it is. I don't let Toles lead off.
I think that's where you spend your money.
Yeah, let Toles lead off. Let Manny walk and go pay that man Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper is supposed to be already signed, and they're probably going to announce it any day. And I don't believe that it's with the Dodgers.
You think that's real?
Oh yeah, no question. I do believe that it's real. And Manny Machado, they're supposed to both be going to the Phillies. I wouldn't doubt if Manny ended up going to the Cubs though, because they need a shortstop. But I mean, you can't lose with either one of those.
You don't
guys.
think he's going to go back to the Nationals? You think Boris can say that if he's changing teams?
He was already giving his goodbyes and crying and everything else at the end of the season to the Nationals. I mean, I don't think that he's going back to the Nationals. No.
That means they really blew it.
Yeah.
They really blew it
They
to
blew
not
John.
get somebody for him,
Yeah, but that was the problem in the first place, And I don't think that they're going to get it. They might, but I doubt it.
Now, moving forward,
Hold on,
what did the Red Sox do?
Wait 1 second. Sorry. My favorite thing about this World Series, which was brutal, it was painful,
Yeah.
it was disrespectful, was watching Walker Buehler and Urias. Those two kids are straight up assassins, and that is
Ice water.
Those kids,
Right.
That is the next generation, and they are here and they are ready. And I'm like,
Honestly,
Only the Dodgers don't mess him up.
I think Ross Stripling is right there with them.
I do too.
I think you have very promising arms in Stripling, Bueller, and Urias, and low key Javi Baez. Pedro Baez got his act together. I'm not gonna get rid of Pedro Baez. He showed me a lot.
We need a right-handed power pitcher.
Bueller.
You have
No. We need another one.
We gotta go with Stripling, and I don't need power.
After
Actually,
watching the Red Sox, I would sign Evaldi.
Yeah, but see, to me, that's a trick. Nate Evaldi has been Nate Evaldi. Yeah, he had a good run. I'm still not sold.
Well,
Nate
and Nate Evaldi's had 2 Tommy Johns as well.
Yeah, and he was here once.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But he was a kid when he was here.
He was a kid, and the Dodgers didn't get through to his mind.
But Tampa Bay did, and they got
Sure did.
and Tampa Bay got him to understand because he's throwing a 100-mile cutter, and that's a problem.
That's a problem.
Because even when it goes bad, it's still good.
That's a
It's
problem.
still better than anything you got.
Right. That's a problem.
That's Chapman as a starter.
Right.
Like he had.
Yeah.
From the right side.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That kid. And
Chapman was a starter. Chapman played.
Right,
Lot of
but
torque.
also
That's a
Nate
lot of-
Eovaldi,
lot
you're
more
like,
torque on his arm.
go hit the bullpen, do this, throw every day, no problem, whatever.
See, I don't believe he's like that in the regular season. Nate Eovaldi wants to be a starter.
I think that the Dodgers need to focus on their bullpen and need to focus on getting the sabermetrics out of their thing.
Yeah, they got to get the sabermetrics
That's
out
not
of the
happening.
organization.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
Now, how does Dave Roberts keep the team?
I don't even know if Dave
The
Roberts
city,
can't-
rather.
I think that he lost the city, and
I heard they booed him.
Yeah, they did.
I was there.
Yeah,
they booed him.
They booed him.
And then on the way out of the stadium, they're chanting, "Fire Roberts."
And he's got to take the blame for the sabermetrics that he probably
Which is
has nothing to
terrible.
do with. Because he's just taking orders from the front office.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who we don't know the answer to that. I mean,
We don't have any way to confirm that. But I have it on good authority
Yes.
that he's not calling all those calls.
Yes.
He's not the one that says Ken Lee has to go twice. Dave Roberts is you and me. Dave Roberts is an actor. And every blue moon, he actually gets to make some calls.
is that true?
Yes.
Is that really true?
I believe it in my heart, very, very much so.
Because if
First
you
of all,
watch
let's
Dave
go.
Roberts play the game-
First of all, watch how he played the game. You think that he's going to play the game like that and then not coach it like that? We got a lot more of what how Alex Cora played and how his players responded with that. You know what I'm saying? Not by going, you know what? Let me look at it. Look this up and see the numbers on this. This dude went by some of the feelings that he had and made a call, and they paid off. Even with the Nunez thing. Eduardo Nunez hurt you bad. I mean, he could have snuck up and won the MVP at a certain point. I mean, his defense is suspect, but Cora was making decisions from the heart. Maybe he's not in total control of his team, but it paid off.
Are you not projecting a little bit? Because Boston is a sabermetrics heavy team.
No, I don't believe that.
They took the whole Oakland playbook over there.
No.
They took the general manager, everyone from Billy Bean.
No, they didn't.
No.
They
Dave
sure did.
Dombrowski
Dave Dombrowski came from Detroit.
Yeah.
No, prior.
Yeah, but this is the team that won, that got it done.
And Theo Epstein came before that.
Yeah, Theo Epstein
Yeah.
was before him. Oh, gee.
Yeah, because you're talking about. I don't
Called
see,
me on the wrong day.
God, I don't see the Athletics still in any bags. They still bags.
Yeah.
Right? They don't sit around. They get the 3-run bomb, but they don't sit around and wait for the 3-run bomb.
No.
The Dodgers sit around.
They set you up for the 3-run
The
bomb.
Dodgers try to sit around and get you with the 3-run bomb, and the 3-run bomb really is a fluke.
Joe Kelly's a free agent.
Keep him. I
doesn't
don't
like
like
Joe
Joe
Kelly.
either.
But forget
I liked
about
him
that.
when he was on the Cardinals.
I'm going to tell you, the Astros are the team that's going to restock and revamp. They don't even need that many pieces. Madison Bumgarner is out there.
That's the key.
And the team like the Astros will go and get a guy like Madison Bumgarner. You get a guy like Madison Bumgarner on your team in that rotation, and you got a problem. I don't care what team he goes to.
Wow.
But the Dodgers, as long as they keep playing like this, they're not going to win a World Series. And not only that, the Dodgers couldn't win anyway. Either one of those teams that played in that series between the Astros and the Boston Red Sox were going to win the World Series. That's the bottom line.
Clearly. The Dodgers didn't want to play the game the right way, and that's all I have to say about it. See you next year, Big Blue. Yeah, you hurt my feelings this time and I have to say, on behalf of the Dodger Nation, there was a sick taste in all Dodger fans' mouth that I didn't have last year against the Astros. There was something about the way the Dodgers lost this year in watching a bunch of adults refuse to make adjustments like children.
Well, one of the things that I got from it is that they didn't play as a team.
And they also played arrogantly as if they were better than they were. And that really bothered me.
And I felt like the Red Sox got caught in the moment a lot and ended up not overpowering them like they should have because they literally hadn't been there. But the Dodgers had been there, so they were a lot more comfortable than what the Red Sox were. But once the Red Sox finally got to the point where like, oh, you know what? We won 108 games. Let's just go ahead and get this over with. I thought that
apparently
the
Chris
Dodgers
Sale
were
was the one. Chris Sale was
Yeah.
the one who snapped them out of it.
Yeah.
He went in there and he smacked some guys around, and they came out banging.
I guess. I mean, I'm perplexed. I am really.
I see that.
I'm hurt.
No, a lot of Dodger fans feel the same way. It's like a nasty, and it's not like we'll get them next year. I wish the season restarted right now. It's like,
We need to restock.
This was it. It feels
Well,
like
the window's very small in winning championships.
especially in baseball.
Yes.
Right, but we've been to the postseason 6 years in a row, the World Series 2 years in a row, and at this point it feels predictable. And the problem is
Buffalo Bills.
LA is not Chicago.
No.
Right? Like
We're
we're
not
not bred
committed-
to be like,
Yeah.
we're losers.
No,
Yeah,
we can't
we're
take
not
that.
losing.
No.
We don't lose in
We
a lot.
can't take that.
We don't lose.
No.
Especially with Magic Johnson
But
being
the
involved
Dodgers
in all
need
the-
to get it right because you're like, oh, you're not about it? I'm just going to go watch LeBron.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? You
We
don't
got
want to
options.
win? I'll
Let's
go
go.
watch. They
Or-
got
or
Ndamukong
LAFC.
They got Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah, let's go
Right.
watch Gurley
Got
run
the
on
best
him.
football team in the world.
So, you have to do better. And by the way, the feeling that you're describing, I felt all season. There was sort of like a malaise through
Yes.
Chavez Ravine until they made a couple, until the end when they had to put their foot on the gas.
And they did it.
to get the division. But this team never should have been in a one-game
No,
playoff.
no, they shouldn't have. Too much
I
talent.
would be
for
very
that.
surprised if they can win the division next year because the Colorado Rockies have actually done something.
That's 3 years in a
He
row.
loves the Rockies.
That this
Every year.
guy is
Every year
year
he's
the
surprised that they
Rockies.
win the
you
West.
know why?
It's
Because the
never
Rockies-
happening.
Yeah, because the Rockies youngsters that they've developed are finally starting to pan out, and they did this year, and they took the Dodgers to the brink this year.
Word.
And it's starting to happen.
Just like Matt Holliday, just like
No, that-
Tulowitzki,
no.
just like Gonzalez.
Well, they got
just
Trevor
like,
Story that's better than two.
just like Todd Helton. Just like
No, they didn't never have pitching. The Colorado Rockies never had pitching, and now they have pitching, and that's the big difference. Marquez is one of the best pitchers in baseball. In Colorado. So the Dodgers, and with the way that the Dodgers are playing, if the Colorado Rockies, because the division is wide open, I thought that the Giants, not the Rockies this year, I called the Giants earlier in the year because I thought that they were going to be able to make some noise.
Dodgers are going to be a better team next year than they were this year, based on Walker Buehler and Urias. That's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. And also, Puig's going to be playing for a contract. They're going to make some moves.
I think Puig made leaps and bounds as a player this year.
No doubt.
I really believe he moved way
I
forward
think
to
Puig
play.
has reached his potential. Honestly,
Pretty good potential.
That's all right. I'm fine with that.
but he's what is it? 25 home run hitting right fielder now
That's fine.
with a mediocre average. He's give me what?
What do you hit?
Late
260?
70s?
280?
Yeah, he is like
Yeah.
260. I think
Gold glove,
I think
like,
Puig can be.
he
not-
should have
Not
been.
Gold Glove.
I think Puig
should
can give
be.
you.
No.
I
Just
think
like he
Puig
should have
can
been the
give you
MVP.
280,
I don't think he hit 280.
27 bombs, and it all depends a lot on really where they put him in the lineup. And if Puig plays the way that I saw him play in the postseason, I am A-okay with Yasiel Puig with whatever he produces because defensively, he's up to code as long as he's mentally there. And offensively was always my concern for him. And offensively, he showed me he can create an approach. He actually can actually have
He had an approach, and it was very
and
impressive.
was impressive because one, he's never shown us that before. Because if you remember, he used to give you that weak swing like Cody Bellinger did for a few years when he got into the clutch. You remember when they played the Cardinals when they broke Hanley Ramirez's ribs? Puig got embarrassed by Michael Wacha,
They
by
embarrassed him.
Adam Wainwright,
All of them.
But every starter they had, Carlos Martinez, they embarrassed him. They literally put him in his place and laughed at him. And then the next year, he had the same problem against the Astros, same problem against the Cubs. This year, Yasiel Puig put it together, and I'm very impressed.
He should have batted leadoff in the World Series.
I take him in a 5-hole even. Just let's move him up. Puig is what he showed
especially
you.
when he's leading your team. And
I don't like him.
I can't have him
I
in
think
the
he's
7-hole.
hitting. I think he bat 289 in the post, and
I can't have
him at 313.
and I can't have him in the 7-hole at that point. When other
keep
guys
batting above him?
when
Cody Bellinger?
other guys are striking out literally
Not making
70% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, leaving him on first. You saw it through the whole series.
Or getting him up with nobody on base. Puig showed me that when runners are on base, he'll put the ball in play.
Yeah, he made the adjustments. I just don't think that. To me, he's more of a left fielder than he would be for a right fielder because right fielders usually have thump, and it's easier for him to play left field, so you can make up for his mistakes that he's going to make on defense. So
The only mistakes that he's going to make, I don't have a problem with his routes to the ball. The mistakes
he has
that
bad
makes-
routes to the ball, but he overthrows guys, and you don't have
That's
to worry
the
about
biggest problem with him
but
overthrowing guys.
Yeah, but that's
but
the
he
big
also
problem.
throws a lot of guys out. That can be corrected. You're talking about him reaching his potential.
I don't think that
a
he
guy
can
that overthrows guys is definitely fixable. A guy that refuses to make adjustments in an at bat is not fixable.
Overthrowing guys like he does in big situations, it becomes more of an emotional thing because he's doing it more for.
He's still 26, 27. T.
But so is Manny Machado, and Manny
But
Machado
he didn't
doesn't
hurt
make those mistakes.
anything.
Manny Machado just walked out a single because he thought it was a bomb. He does make those mistakes.
I'm talking about in the field.
either way it goes, those are mental
And
mistakes that
his
cost
stick has
you.
never been up to the code to Manny Machado's. That's a like.
No, but you're trying to have it both ways, and I'm not going to let you do that.
That's not having it both ways.
Yes, it
That's
is.
telling the truth.
You said, "Oh, he's 26 years old." So is Manny Machado. So is a whole
Manny
bunch of
Machado
other
was
great
there,
guys.
and Manny
Machado's
Machado's a
going
great
to go
ball
get
player.
$300 million, and we're not talking about that kind of money for Puig.
Yeah, Puig is a
No.
Puig is a mediocre ball player.
No, he's not. Why are you just so full of shit?
He's a mediocre ball player.
Shit. You were just sitting all day. Now this is Terry the Contrarian because all day,
No doubt.
all day Terry wants to talk about how impressive Puig has become.
He was, but he's
until now.
The truth
where
of the
he wants
matter
to
is,
run him down.
if Puig was playing at Mile High, he'd be like, well, you know,
Yeah, I mean, those
Puig
28
in Colorado.
Yeah, he really would only hit 15.
Puig, let me put it like this:
level.
Puig can't even make the outfield in Colorado. You got David Dahl, Charlie Blackmon.
Colorado can't make it out of the regular season.
Hello.
They can't make it out of the
Hello.
NL West.
Hello.
Well, I'd rather do that than be at home and enjoying and resting my body than
Then
go
you're
to
a loser.
Than going to the World Series and
Then you're a
and
loser.
going by the numbers and end up
That's
losing
not- that's-
every year.
Lies.
Look at
That's a
my
lie.
Lies.
I know you.
Lies.
I know you're lying. You would never rather be at home
Lies.
when if there's a
That's
chance
true.
to compete. You should tell the truth and shame the devil because you're
I
lying
am.
right now. It's lies. Anyways, OG, thanks for stopping by. I don't know if you want to stick around for the college football segment if you're going to bounce, but we obviously
I gotta bounce.
We
You
have
gotta
such
know.
a great time with you.
Bryce
You're always
Harper,
welcome.
2019.
wasting money.
Hey, this guy, he's at everybody.
Who-
we can sign Babe Ruth. He'll never do anything for the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's true.
Who would you sign? Why would you get another outfielder? You got like 20 of them.
No,
Well,
I'm
I would
saying
get rid of
these guys.
some.
We got to get rid of these dudes.
No, what for what? So you can get him to try to play by the numbers?
Bryce Harper is the numbers. Bryce
You don't get him to play by the sabermetrics?
But doesn't matter. I don't think he's coming to LA regardless.
Yeah, he's not. But either way, it would be
But
a
like
waste
even
of
if
time.
they offered him $300 million, I don't think he's coming to LA.
He should.
I don't know about
He's
that.
not-
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't
not
know
that
about
far
that.
from here.
He's from Vegas. Yeah, his family is. We seen his family at the stadium
You
a
know
bunch.
who's going to sign him? The Angels.
The outfield king.
The king of outfield. He could be outfield number 201.
That's
Maybe
right.
they'll find a place for him.
Right.
beside Otani.
That's right.
Oh my God.
Man.
Talk about mismanagement. OG.
All right.
Thank you so much, ladies
And
and
we got to
gentlemen.
talk about Brad Osmus when we get a chance, too.
That's
Why? You think he's going to be the coach
He is
he-
the coach.
they signed him.
signed him.
terrible work
Terrible.
in Anaheim?
in Anaheim
You're devastated.
By the way, Anaheim.
of Los
Anaheim.
That's what it
That's what we
is.
always-
Anaheim of Los
of Fullerton
Angeles. That's
of
respect.
Redondo
Of San Diego.
You're right. Santa Monica of Los Angeles.
Of the Angels.
of proximity.
Right. They did.
OG,
well, I
OG,
feel bad
what's
for
your-
them.
I do too.
What's your message to the people about November 6th? Last parting note.
Oh well, yeah, you got to vote or just die. Like
We got listeners all over the country.
You know, first of all, this is a historic, revolutionary election. There is a black woman who could become the governor of Georgia. If you think of
Stacey
that
Abrams.
in a historical perspective, that's just extraordinary. She's a brilliant woman. Andrew Gillum could be governor of Florida. I think he's a brilliant young man who's got a long, great future ahead of him. Beto O'Rourke he got a tough hill to climb,
He does.
but amazing candidate. And for the first time ever, California votes really matter.
It really
Like,
matters to vote. in
California, we
California.
can actually flip Congress. You know what I mean?
Ourselves,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, no doubt. And
Yeah.
like there are Republican members of Congress in California who have been working with, Soviet intelligence agencies to undermine our democracy. People need to care about this.
People need to care.
People need
as
to care
much as
about
we
this.
care about the Dodgers. People need to care.
Or any sports.
Yeah, or any sport. I was just using the Dodgers because it just ended. As much as the city is hurt about that, we should be hurt about what's going on in the country, and our opportunity to change it needs to be exercised.
And by the way, that's up and down the ballot. Like every election,
Everything matters.
Right. You have district attorneys, sheriffs,
Judges.
These people they really make
These
a
are the people that
difference
determine-
in your life.
Yeah, day to day.
Yeah.
They
So I just wanted to give you, just wanted to give you that opportunity. Always a pleasure for you to stop by. You are a friend of the Ozone.
OG.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we ran a little long. We're going to try to get you maybe an espresso shot to hit you with some boxing, some college football. We don't want to wear you out in too large of a sample size. We're going to wrap up this edition, this post-World Series edition of the Ozone, with a quote from Chief Red Eagle. And the quote is this: "Angry people want you to see how powerful they are. Loving people want you to see how powerful you are. You have power, folks. You need to use it and exercise it properly because we are all in this thing together. I'm your host, Omar Miller, and this is the Ozone.
Ozone.
I'm just living the dream. I'm in love with the lights. This is not just a game. This here is my life. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah.